HFM with me, Rob Maltman. And joining me on the phone, we have, for the first time, Bam Barton. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, not bad, Rob. Thanks. Yourself?
I'm very well, mate. Very well. Thank you for joining us.
Good.
Welcome to the show.
No problem. Thanks for inviting me.
So, firstly, Bam Barton from the House of Pain, naturally, but tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about the history of Bam Barton and where you started and where you are now.
Yeah, no problem. Well, started as a youngster being into wrestling. Obviously, I remember watching my first match. Probably would have been about 8-9 years old. Around my friend's house who had Sky. I never had Sky growing up, but used to go around there after seeing my first match and watch it as often as I could do, and then just used to play around in the playground as you do as a kid. Always kind of watched it for years on and off, and then decided when I got to sort of the ripe age of, I think it was about 16, 17, I really ought to try giving this a go somewhere, and looked online at the time. The only place I found that was doing wrestling training was the FWA Academy. Went down there on some weekend camps to Portsmouth. Quite a trek for me, but that's how I started until that all dissolved, and I found a school up here, which became the House of Pain eventually. Started off as MBW school, taught by Sticks when I started there, which then evolved through a few different promotions, Slam, and then it became what it is today.
Are you a Nottingham lad then? Are you Nottingham born and bred?
Well, yeah, pretty much. I was Mansfield. I was born and raised, without wanting to sound too much like the Fresh Prince.
Nothing wrong with that, my friend. Nothing wrong with that at all.
And then I grew up in Leicester. Well, part of Leicester, Colville, not the proudest part of Leicester, but and then moved to sort of Derbyshire, Nottinghamshire area when I was about 17, 18 years old. But I know Nottingham pretty well, and I'm quite comfy with it, so I always call that my hometown.
Right, I quite like the fact you've done Leicester. I mean, obviously, being on Harbour FM, we do Leicestershire quite well.
Well, yeah. I used to teach a class in Harbour, actually.
Did you?
Market Harbour. A few years ago now, but yeah, I know Harbour.
Excellent. That kind of ticks a box for me. That's like local interest. That's that bit done. We probably get one local interest story once a month on this show, so but no, that's that box ticks. The background in martial arts, then, you say you taught a class in Harbour. I'm assuming it was a martial arts class.
That's right, yeah, Taekwondo. Done that for 17 years now.
Wow.
Don't think it's something I'll ever stop. I was quite fortunate to find a decent school, and a really decent teacher, part of a great association, and the guy that heads it is, well, he is now the highest in the world, but I mean, it's quite a young martial art, and it was only been around since 55, and the founder, a guy called General Choi, trained a guy, Grandmaster Riki Hari, came over to the UK, and I think he's getting into his 70s now, but he's one of the only people I won't mess with. I mean, that guy is rock solid. I mean, Mr. Miyagi would probably run away from him. He knows his martial arts. He's something to behold.
I'm saying if it started in 55, this bloke's obviously done the bulk of those years learning this craft.
That's it. Yeah.
So, sorry, carry on.
He's quite something. I mean, everyone sort of, when they go for their black belt, part of the grade is to break a brick, and you know, you break your brick to pass. But he's the only person I see break a brick that when he hits it, it's like a charge has gone off on the inside and it explodes. He's something else. It's quite something to watch him break and to perform and to do martial arts. But yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so you've taught Taekwondo.
That's right.
And you're a black belt in it. Here's a question for you that's going to get you in trouble. Are you a better Taekwondo teacher than Sticks is a wrestling teacher?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of a political answer for that. Something that doesn't harm me and doesn't harm him. There's two different kettles of fish.
There you go.
You couldn't compare the two. Wrestling's so subjective, and Taekwondo is very on a straight line. There's only a right way. Wrestling's got no right and no wrong. Well, It has. There's a lot more variation, let's say that.
Yeah. On a serious note, though, how did the martial arts background get you into wrestling? Because I've seen you wrestle, and I never got that martial arts feel from you in the way that, say, an RVD or a Davey Richards has that in them. I never got that from your wrestling style. Is that a conscious decision, or is that something that's just happened?
It's a semi-conscious decision. I mean, the thing, without trying to kayfabe it to a degree, I've got to be careful about. You can make yourself look too good and too impressive with certain things and get a reaction that you don't necessarily want.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the martial arts. The other thing is as well is that I've trained for a long time to do it, and I do put it in sometimes, not so often. But it's trying to do it without actually making it hurt and make contact. I don't want to kick someone and mean
knock them out
when I'm kicking something at Taekwondo. Yeah, I mean, I'd get disqualified, wouldn't I?
Well, of course. It's also one of them things. It doesn't befit Bam Bam Barton, as it were. Like, it's not a martial arts, and I use the word loosely, but character. It's when you watch Bam Bam Barton wrestle, you're a big guy, and you wrestle as a big guy, not as a as an extent of Davey Richards.
Yeah, I'm big guy with a temper, I suppose. It's I don't know. It's quite good fun. I quite like shouting and screaming at people and getting in people's faces. It's it makes for a good time, I think.
All the stuff you're not allowed to do in martial arts.
Exactly.
Okay, so the career of Bam Bam Barton, you've been wrestling now for year upon year upon year. Where have you, other than obviously Nottingham, what promotions have you wrestled for? What promotions do you currently wrestle for? And your list of achievements as well.
Achievements-wise, I mean, I haven't got a whole history of belts or anything like that. I've got a belt currently with my tag partner, SC Supreme.
Yeah.
We hold the RDW Tag Team Championships. Obviously, so that's one of the promotions. House of Pain's another one. MBW was my first promotion I went into. That was the original MBW. LDN, I've done bits for All Star, Rebel Pro, XWCA, This Is Wrestling, NGW as well. Done a few shows for them. Great production with those guys in Hull.
Yeah.
There's a few others as well. There's quite a few little ones that have sort of been and gone.
How do you find the current state of British wrestling now? Obviously, as someone who's been around for a little while now, how are you finding it in 2012, going into 2013? Are you seeing positive signs, or obviously you're travelling around the country?
I would say there's positive signs. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are interested in it. There's some really good talent on the UK scene. I mean, there's some guys from Nottingham, your friend LJ Heron, fantastic. Other Notts guys, I mean, you've got Paul Mayland, Joe Connors, Danny Chase. I mean, there's guys I'll be forgetting. There's other guys further afield. You've obviously got Ligero, Jerry Hayes, Chris Travis. You've got all those guys which are just, flying the flag and travelling the country, and that I think they're doing great stuff for wrestling. There's obviously other sides of wrestling which people would try not to associate with, that don't do the business a great deal of favours, because if a fan goes to a bad wrestling show and sees something they don't like, they're less inclined to go back and less likely to tell their friends. So I went to something great the other day and saw that. But I mean, I think it has to be doing well. There's so many promotions popping up and so many schools going full time as well. I mean, the House of Pain's just got its full time facility in Nottingham, and I keep reading online about different places where schools are going full time. I mean, there's got to be success and got to be money being made to be able to run places like that, which I think is fantastic. I mean, it's great. Wrestling does a lot for people. I started wrestling, I think I was about 19.5 stone, and sort of the fear of getting into spandex in front of a load of strangers and everything like that forced me to lose a fair bit of weight, and it really built my confidence talking in front of people and just generally getting out there. It does a lot for you that people don't consider. I mean, people probably think of it, people that don't know wrestling certainly think of it as a bit of a hillbilly